June 11th, 2023. It has to be. It has to be the busiest week in June. And in fact, the first day, June 11th, has to be the busiest day of the month. So we're going to see this as being a kind of a pivot point. This week is a pivot point. And the short answer for you this week is that you want to get things done pretty soon. Right? This is it. This is your last best chance for getting stuff done before we hit the very Neptunian back end of June. And although I wouldn't say that everything is going to go along swimmingly this week, it's still your best opportunity. It's probably going to be a pretty good week. Last week had some similar opportunity. Hey, last week, two things about last week. We had Ceres, the Earth, the higher octave of the moon asteroid, opposite, or dwarf planet, I should say, opposite Neptune, the foggy god of the seas. And wouldn't you know that we had fog flowing through the United States due to the Canadian wildfires. You know, Ceres often gives us information about climate change and the environment, our food supplies, things like that. And in opposition to Neptune, what a way to deliver the message with this dark fog. It was really, I mean, here on Long Island, it was like a sepia photograph on Wednesday. Everything was just covered in this brownish orange haze type of thing. It was very dramatic. And I think that was very much Ceres and Neptune getting together to give us a bit of a little bit of a, it's not even a warning, just a little bit of a update on where we are with things. Very, very warm and very, very dry weather in Canada, northern Canada even. Okay. And there are other things that happened last week, that Venus-Pluto opposition. I just want to point out that what happened in the golf world, as upsetting as it is for some of us, and I'm not much of a golf fan, but I still find it to be upsetting. That was very much the Venus-Pluto opposition. You know, who's got the money is what's going to make the difference. You know, sometimes things go that way. Okay, this week, we start this week with Pluto retrograding. This is all on the 11th. Pluto retrogrades out of Aquarius and back into Capricorn. Now we're taking these Aquarian issues of power and who's got the power and the people have the power, and bringing it back into the world of Capricorn, which is much more about institutions, government and businesses and things like that. And so we're wedding together this Aquarian and Capricornian theme with Pluto making transformations in both ways. Keep your eyes on the news for January 11th on Sunday and Monday. Interestingly, the second thing that happens on June 11th is that Mercury moves into his home sign of Gemini, which is nice. But before he does, he trines Pluto. And it's a quick minute, because as soon as he trines Pluto, he goes into Gemini. It happens almost, right, astrologically speaking, we could say it happens almost instantaneously. So there's this powerful delivering of a message, and then we're on to the next thing. So that's something to watch out for on Sunday, early on Sunday, because once this aspect is passed, once Mercury gets into Gemini, really we lose the steam of it. And because Pluto isn't yet in Capricorn, this aspect doesn't really have much of a build. It's just, it's there and it's gone. It's a trine aspect. It should be relatively easy. If there is a message to deliver, that's a great time to deliver it, but you can miss your moment real easily with this. Mercury in Gemini, that's his home sign, is going to be strong for the next few weeks. He's up to speed now. Hopefully those mercurial mishaps become a thing of the past. And then what happens on Sunday, the 11th? We also have, and this will color for sure Saturday the 10th, if you're watching early, and Sunday the 11th, and it will be heated up at various times during the week, and that is Venus's square to Jupiter. Now, Venus and Jupiter are best friends. They get along really well. They're the two helpful, the benefic planets, we say in astrology. And so they always get along pretty well, even in a tense square aspect. But Venus is out in Leo, which Jupiter loves, and Venus is pretty happy too. And Jupiter is back in Venus's home sign of Taurus. And so they're in what we call reception. And so it's going to be even easier to get things worked out. This is the aspect that we're most likely to see playing out on a personal level over the weekend. And it's a good one, right? We're at the last quarter moon. We're waning into next week's new moon. That's early on Sunday next week. And we still have a little bit of energy in the air. So Venus squared Jupiter in these signs, I mean, too much of a good thing is kind of the way I would look at it. That's one possibility for sure. It's a little too much of a good thing, a little overindulgence, you know. Venus in Leo wants to go play, wants to do your own thing, wants to have fun. Jupiter in Taurus is just enjoying himself, providing the resources you need. So, I mean, it seems like, you know, there could be a little bit of a what are we going to do kind of thing. You know, is it going to be more formal? Is it going to be more casual? Is it going to be just us? Is it going to be a group thing? You know, that type of stuff could be an issue. But basically speaking, it's a good aspect and it feels kind of nice. And I like that sort of stuff. I'm sure you do too. We get to the 15th, and the 15th by my reckoning is Thursday. Then we're going to have Mercury square to Saturn. Mercury in Gemini is quite strong. Saturn in Pisces, you know, he's paddling around in the sign of the fish. It's not his favorite place to be. What we could come up with is a few different stories. It seems to be, you know, Mercury Saturn aspects are always like the sort of, you know, confrontation with authority type of thing. In the signs involved, it seems like what we might be doing is coming up with multiple explanations, multiple possibilities for things. You know, it's an aspect. Saturn wants to get the story straight. And Mercury and Gemini, well, you know, get the story straight or come up with another story. It's all, you know, it's all a realm of possibility. But in the signs involved, I can see that Saturn is trying to get the story straight, but we're not quite sure what that story is. So in practical terms, it means that midweek, we might have some demands on us. There could be some deadlines. There could be some constraints. And yet you'll find that it's probably possible to talk your way out of them if they feel like they're being a little too constraining and restricting. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Saturday, and so coloring Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and just kind of falling into Sunday, we have Saturn stationing to go retrograde in Pisces. It certainly affects that Mercury Saturn aspect on Thursday. It makes it a little stronger, but it's a weak aspect. So what is strong to be weak? So Saturn stations demand that you work. They demand that you put out effort. Saturn wants you to, you know, try. Saturn wants you to try. Are you going to accomplish a lot? Maybe it could go down like that. Possibly, but try, work at it, you know. So look at the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, as having a kind of work-oriented feel. If it's a house project, I should really go fix the sink and stuff like that. Especially Saturn rules plumbers and he's in Pisces. So, you know, if it's a plumbing problem, you know, fix it or get a plumber in to fix it or something like that. But, you know, whatever the project is, maybe you just need to do some spring cleaning. Maybe it's a matter of getting some extra work done over the weekend. Maybe there's things that are just, it's a great time to try to complete things that you want to get done before the summertime. This whole week I would look at as being that. The things that you want to get in place before, you know, things kind of relax a bit for the summer. That's the way to think about this week. And that's certainly what Saturn station at the end of the week is saying. So, okay, you know, are you going to do some work? It probably means that this is the least fun weekend of June. We've had some pretty good weekends. Remember, we're talking about the weekend of the 17th and 18th. The first weekend of June, the 3rd and 4th, was great. The 10th and 11th, we have this Jupiter-Venus aspect. It's nice. It's this 17th and 18th that we're running into the Saturn station. We're also at the new moon, so energy is low. And so probably not the most fun weekend. This new moon, by the way, is square to Neptune. Both the sun and the moon are going to be square to Neptune, who's in late Pisces. And so we'll have more to say about that next week. Although, to tell you the truth, it's something that you might start thinking about now. It's the beginning of a season, which is going to last for a couple of weeks, where maybe it's better to go with fantasy, intuition, let serendipity rule rather than trying to have firm plans. So Saturn stations on Saturday, and so the end of the week is very much work oriented, get stuff done, see what you can accomplish. And then right away, the new moon takes over, and the Neptunian energy carries us through the rest of the month. And it is not the easiest time. Oh, yeah, there are going to be some periods in the course of the month which will have some good opportunities, relatively good opportunities for you as the moon waxes and maybe some helpful aspects are in place. So don't forget to watch the forecasts as we go forward. But simple, easy. This week is the week to get stuff done, try to accomplish as much as possible. Also be a little careful around the Saturn station. Sometimes, immunity gets a little bit lower. There's not quite that, especially at the new moon, there might be little bugs going around, maybe not big bugs, we've taken care of that. But maybe little bugs going around and things. So you want to be careful. You want to work, but don't overexpend yourself either. Try to keep things in balance. And a little bit of temperance here. We put out the effort, but we also take care of ourselves. We don't want to overextend ourselves. We don't feel like we've got to meet that deadline. We got to get everything done. Try your best, put out the effort. Don't expect a lot of results, but you can get stuff done for sure. You're wrapping things up coming into the new moon. We'll talk about next week, next week.